question number 6 part 3 was left. Okay, so there is that the question examine in brief the doctrine of forms and substance. What they are saying, doctrine of forms and substance in context of tax planning under the income tax, and also need to be answered a case in this regard in this case. So there is the answer that the following are the certain principles enunciated by the court on the question as to whether it is a form of substance or transactions which will prevail in the income tax matters. So it is well settled that the transaction is arranged in one form that is known to law, it will attract tax liability, whereas if it is entered into in another form which is equally lawful, it may not, it considering whether a transaction attracts tax or not. The form of transactions put through it is to be considered and not the substance. However, this rule applies only to the genuine transactions. The case was held in Motor and General Stores Private Limited versus CIT, is it Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay, so what in this case it was held that it is well settled that when a transaction is arranged with is one form known to law, it will attract tax liability. Okay, and if it entered into another form which is equally lawful, it may not. So in considering whether a transaction attracts tax or not in the form of nature put together, put through is to be considered and not the substance. So what is a true and legal relation in this case? That it is crucial element for taxability, and the true legal relation arising from a transaction alone determines the taxability of a receipt arising from the transactions. Now it is open for the authority to purse the corporate veil, means they can go to lifting of that corporate veil and look behind the legal facade and the reality of the transaction. Now the taxing authority is entitled as well as bound to determine the true legal relation resulting from the transactions. Now what all are the substance that is relevant? That the substance is relevant and not the form. Like in the case of an expenditure, the mere fact that the payment is made under an agreement does not preclude the department from inquiring into the actual nature of the payment. That case was held in Swadeshi Cotton Mill Company Limited. So in order to determine whether a particular item or expenditure is of a revenue or capital in nature, the substance and not merely the form should be looked into. Means what are the substance that also be taken care of. Now we have another question, that is, what do you understand by double taxation? Okay, and connecting factors which led to double taxation of an income. So the answer is there that the double taxation occurs when an assessee is required to pay two or more taxes for the same income assets of financial transactions in different countries. Double taxation occur mainly due to overlapping tax laws and regulations of the countries where an assessee operates as business. Now double taxation agreement is basically the systematic imposition. Double taxation agreement is basically the systemic imposition of two or more taxes of the same income. Now the double tax liability is often mitigated by the tax agreement known as treaty between the countries. Now the taxability of a foreign entity in any country depends upon two distinct factors. What all are they? That is, whether it is doing business with that country or in that country internationally, and the term used to determine the jurisdiction of taxation is connecting factor. So what all are the connecting factors in determining the tax liability? Now there are two types of connecting factors, namely what is the residence and what is the source of income. that the person is a resident or what is the source of this income. Now a company, it means a company can be subject to tax either on its residence link or its source link with that country. Means if if the person is for residence and the source. So broadly, if we talk that if a company is doing business with another country, so that is a host or source country, so then it would be subject to tax in its home country alone based on its residence link. However, if a company is doing business in a host country, then besides being taxed in the home country on the basis of its residence link, it will also be taxed in the host country, that is the source country, in the case of source link. So jurisdiction of double taxation accordingly when sources overlap. So what they want to say here, jurisdiction of double taxation accordingly when the sources overlap and double taxation may arise, that is taxes imposed by two or more countries as per their domestic tax laws in the respect of that same transaction. Now income arise or deemed to be arise in their respective jurisdiction, it is known as jurisdictional double taxation. Now in order to avoid such double taxation, a company can invoke provision of double taxation avoidance agreement, also known as tax treaty or double tax convention, with the host or source country, or in the absence of such an agreement, an Indian company can invoke provision of Section 91 of the Income Tax Act 1961. Now, providing unilateral relief in the event of double taxation, economic double taxation. Economic double taxation happens when the same transaction item of income or capital is taxed in two or more states but in the hands of different person because of lack of subject identity. Now we have another question. Question number 2 basically, that is Live Telefilms is a UK based foreign company. It's a UK based foreign company and not having any Indian citizen residence in India holding its shares. Now it has a short TV film during year ended entirely on Indian location so as to show the Indian culture heritage. Now the film is to be telecast exclusively in the foreign country, but it has also been agreed with the government of India to give the right to telecast of in India also to DD second free of charge. Now the AO issue a show called notes note asking foreign company to pay tax on India and can try it from the telecasting of film. Now company claims that it is not liable to pay tax any before seeking your opinion. So I will go into that much detail of this question, that is sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so as per section 9 subsection 1 of the Income Tax Act states that any income accruing or arising whether directly or indirectly from any business connection in India shall be the income deemed to accrue arise in India. However, explanation A to D to this clause illustrate about the cases which will not be regarded as business connection in India. Now, according to the explanation due to this clause, no income shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India through or from operations which are confined to showing of any of the cinema photography film in India, provided the SEC who is residents. Now, an individual who is not a citizen of India, a firm which does not have any partner who is a citizen of India, who is a resident of India, or company which does not have any shareholders who is a citizen of India or who is residents of India. In the instance, the SEC is a foreign company which does not have any shareholders who is either citizen of India or residents of India. Now, no income of the foreign shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India. Now, therefore, the action of is not correct by putting to tax income to the company. बेसिकली एग्जाम्पशन में था कि भाई ये जो पार्ट है कि अगर कोई न्यूज़ व्यूज़ ये सब शेयर हो रही हैं So that is not termed B as taxation. Now we have question number 6, 3 part. That XYZ took over a running business of sole proprietorship by a sale deed. As per the term of sale deed, XYZ Limited required to pay overriding charges of 75,000 per month per annum to the wife of the sole proprietor of 10 years. In addition to the sale of trans consideration, the sale deed also specifically mentioned that the amount of 75,000 is a charge on the net profit of XYZ Limited, who had accepted the obligation as a condition of purchase of the business as a going concern. So, is the payment overriding charges by XYZ Limited to the wife of the sole proprietor in the nature of diversion of income or application of income? Now we have to discuss that. I also explain the provision of income tax in this regard. So we have that question, that is 6A, question number 3rd. Now the issue came up for consideration before the Allahabad court in the case of Jeet and Pal X-Ray Private Limited. Now the Allahabad High Court observed that overriding charges which had been created in favor of the wife of the sole proprietor was an integral part of the sale deed, by which the going concern was transferred to the SSA. Now the obligation therefore was attached to the very source of the income, that is the going concern transferred to the SSA by the sale deed. Now the sale deed also specifically mentioned that the amount in question was charged on the net profit of the SSA company, and the SSA company had accepted that obligation as a condition of purchase of the going concern. Hence, it is clearly in case of diversion of income by an overriding charges and not a